But let's have a look at a tweet from the United Nations. If you don't think all things are political, then have a look at this. A virus that got out of control in China apparently, well, is all about, among other things, the patriarchy. The COVID-19 pandemic is demonstrating what we all know. Millennia of patriarchy have resulted in a male-dominated world with a male-dominated culture which damages everyone, women, men, girls and boys. Mark Latham is the leader of One Nation in the New South Wales Parliament. He joins us from home and he tweeted about it today. Sorry, patriarchy has something to do with the pandemic?
Yeah, it's hard to believe, isn't it, Paul? The fact that more men have died of COVID-19 than women, and they've fallen back on patriarchy, that the problems of the world, including the pandemic, are a product of men. So there's the United Nations basically saying to half the world's population, we think you're rubbish. And, you know, I think it links very much to those scenes you showed in the United States, black people going in and wiping the plates and food away of white people sitting at the cafe table, just minding their own business, presumably on the basis of white privilege. You know, who are the bigots here, Paul? Who are the bigots? We hear a lot of talk from the left about bigotry. Who are the bigots here? The bigots are the UN saying with no evidence whatsoever that men are to blame for the problems of the world and the pandemic. The bigots are the black people who go in and disturb someone's cafe meal by wiping their plates away, or the woman who went up and drank the fellow's glass of water there to make some point, presumably about coronavirus. They're the bigots. They're the ones extolling and externalising their hatred, their biases, their prejudices, just because they can now. You know, what you're really finding here is what lies in the heart of the left. A whole bunch of hatreds and petty views of the world where they now think they've got a licence to put it out there. It's the bigotry, and they are the bigots.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Rita, again, what is the purpose of the UN tweeting and carrying on about the patriarchy here?
Well, this has been going on from the very start of this pandemic. You may remember the Greens MP, Mehreen Faruqi, talked about this in the Australian Parliament, the same themes about how this virus disproportionately impacts women. Even though, as Mark mentioned, more men die from COVID-19 than women, and that's been the experience around the world. Apparently, it's a patriarchal disease, and women are most impacted. But I'm just going to say with Mark, it's not just black people who were part of those mobs that went around and terrorised diners who were just minding their own business. There's also footage from Rochester in New York. Again, people were dining outside and this mob came and started screaming, started throwing chairs. People just fled for their lives. And I tell you, most of that Black Lives Matter mob were white. They were white lefties who have decided, they are now going to, I don't know what they're doing, because they're the aggressors. They're the ones who are absolutely terrorising people, and I think they're going to cause Joe Biden and the Democrats a few problems.